Thanks for returning to Finding Kultur. Our topic today is Buddha on Heart Sutra and Neo-Buddhism. I'm Kultur, Gutul. Heart Sutra opens with a Bodhisattva who is visualizing 自在. So what is 自在 in Buddhism or 自然 in Taoism? Well, X being as itself is 自身, and X being in itself is 自在 or 自然. When X is substance, substance being as itself is particles. When X is space, space being as itself is bosons or force fields or property space. It's called property space because it's the space in which particles acquire their properties. When X is the universe being as itself is made of particles and bosons, or substance and space, or material and nature. Substance being in itself, or the nature of substance is change in form. It's also called 有量 or quantized in Buddhism, and called the ninth Si in Buddhism. It is impermanence, it is dependence, it is Buddha, it is Dalai, or come such, it is something-ness, and the eternal you, or 常有, and this is the you in so-called the you Buddhism. It is also empty, but it's not emptiness. Space being in itself, or the nature of space, is no change, or no change in nature. It's called the 无量 or non-quantized in Buddhism. It is also called the 10th Si in Buddhism. It is permanence, it is independence, it is Buddha nature or Buddha spirit, it is Zhenlu, true search, and it is nothingness, and it is the eternal Wu or Chang Wu. It is emptiness or Chang Kong, and the Kong in Chang Kong is the same Kong as in the Kong Buddhism, but it is not empty. The universe being in itself is change and no change, change in form and no change in nature. It is quantized and non-quantized. It is impermanent and permanent. It is dependent and independent. That's why it is non-duality. It is symmetry. It is called Lulu, such, or Buddhahead in Buddhism. It is the eternal nothingness because it is made of somethingness and nothingness. Since it is empty and it is also emptiness, it is the emptiness, or what Dalai Lama calls the emptiness of emptiness. Obviously, in Buddhism, it is also known as the nirvana, the other shore, or prana paramita. It is wisdom and it is nature. In monotheism, we have very similar naming of substance being as itself as the being, space being as itself as the non-being, and the universe being itself as Godhead. In Taoism, we call substance being in itself Tao, and the being or the named, the space being in itself Da or Da Dao, or the non-being or the nameless, and the nature of the universe, the eternal Tao, and the eternal being, 常道 and 常名 in Chinese. Part 1 of the word of our consciousness or knowledge, also known as the formed word or 色界 in Buddhism, includes our sensations of sight, sound, scent, taste, touch, and thought, also known as the first sense, second sense, third sense, fourth sense, fifth sense, and the sixth sense, respectively. Their subjects are our six roots or six entrances, and they are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and brain. Their objects are the six dusts. They are sound, sight, scent, taste, touch, and thought. All sensation or sight being as itself is good or bad sight. All sensation or thought being as itself is good or bad thought. And all dualistic sensations come from our dualistic heart or duality. They include first Si, second Si, third Si, fourth Si, fifth Si, and sixth Si. We should note that all consciousness of X being as itself is known in Buddhism and Hinduism as the outer world, and is called Yi and Xiang in Buddhism. For example, Zhu Fa Kong Xiang in Heart Sutra. And our consciousness of X being in itself is called, in Buddhism and Hinduism, the inner world. It is called Si, which is nature or property, and is also called Yun, Chang in Buddhism. For example, Wu Yun Jie Kong in Heart Sutra. Part 2 of our world of consciousness and knowledge, known as the formless world, Wu Se Jie in Buddhism, includes our intuition of time, our intuition of space, our intuition of substance, and our intuition of the universe, and our concept of causality, logic, mathematics, and science. They are also known as the seventh sense. Their subjects are our brain. Their objects are time, space, substance, the universe, causality, logic, mathematics, and science. Our intuition of time being as itself is before or after. Our intuition of the universe is something or nothing. Our concept of causality, logic, mathematics, and science being as itself is always true or false, and all these dualistic thoughts are ours come from our dualistic heart or our duality, which is called in this case the seventh Si. The seventh Si or Mana Si, Mona Si, is hidden beneath the formation of seventh sense through our feelings, soul, our wants, xiang, our actions, xing, and forming eventually our consciousness, yi shi. Part 3 of the world of our conscious or knowledge, also known as the name world or Mingjie in Buddhism, includes our ideas of life, self, like, good, and perfect, also known as the seventh sense. Their subjects are still our brain. Their objects are life, self, like, good, and perfect. Our idea of life being as itself is life or death. Our idea of self being as itself is self or other. Our idea of like being as itself is like or dislike. Our idea of good being as itself is good or evil. And our idea of perfect being as itself is perfect or imperfect. And our dualistic ideas all come from our dualistic heart or our duality, which is the seventh Si. The seventh Si, also known as the Mana Si or Mona Si, becomes Shou Yun, 想运, 行运, and 识运. Since 色运 represents the first 6 yun or 识, the first 7 yun or 识 become 色运 plus 受运 plus 想运 plus 行运 plus 识运, and they are the 5 yun or the 5 hidden. They are also called 名色, which is name and form in English, Namarupa in Sanskrit, and 名色 in Chinese. It is also known as Ye or Ye Xin in Buddhism. It is karma in Sanskrit and Ye or Ye Xin in Chinese. Part 4 of the Word of our Consciousness or Knowledge, also known as the Nameless Word or Wu Ming Jie, includes our empathetic, our righteousness, and our sympathetic and benevolent ideas, also known as the 8th sense. Their subjects are our brain, and their objects are the empathetic and sympathetic ideas. Our sympathetic idea being as itself, and our sympathetic idea being as itself are self equals other, life equals death, likes equals dislike, good equals evil, and perfect equals imperfect. All these non-dualistic ideas come from our non-dualistic heart or our non-duality, which is known as the 8th Si in Buddhism, or Buddha nature, or the diamond heart, or Alaya Vijnana, or Prana Pramamita. When the 8th Si is hijacked by the 7th Si, one lives in suffering, visual, and reincarnation. When the 8th Si is relieved from the 7th Si, one lives in ultimate joy, that sure, and nirvana. Prana Paramita is the wisdom that takes us from this shore to that shore. That is non-duality. So the Heart Sutra says, when Avalokita or a bodhisattva who is visualizing the non-dualistic nature or the being in itself that is 自在 of the universe, she practiced the deep wisdom of going beyond. She enlightens herself and sees that the 5 hidden is or empty. She pledges to relieve sufferings and the perils of all sentient beings. She says to Sariputra, 1. The nature of all sensations is no different from being empty. 2. The changing, impermanent, and interdependent nature of substance is no different from the nature of sensations. 3. The nature of sensations is empty. 4. The changing, impermanent, and interdependent nature of substance is the nature of sensations. 5. Also empty is the nature of feelings, the nature of wants, the nature of actions, and the nature of consciousness. Therefore, the 5 hidden is empty. She says to Sariputra, the wisdom or the nature of the universe is to empty out or to get rid of all appearances. Then there shall be no emergence or extinction, no blemish or immaculate, no increase or decrease. So, in the unchanging, permanent, and independent nature of space, there is not the nature of our sensations, feelings, wants, action, and consciousness. There are no sight, sound, scent, taste, touch, and thought. There are no eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and brain. And there are no such conscious words of our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body. And in the end, there too is not such a conscious word or brain, because they are all made of substance. There is no ignorance to start a cycle or causation or rebirth. There too is no extinction of ignorance. Without ignorance to start a cycle or causation or rebirth, in the end there is also no aging and death. There too is no extinction of aging and death. There is no suffering, craving, extinction, or path. As there is no wisdom and nothing to attain. The cycle or causation, or the cycle of rebirth, or reincarnation, and the Four Noble Truths are dogmas. They are the ferry that helps take us from this shore to that shore. They are not prana paramita, not a wisdom that takes us from this shore to that shore. We do not carry the ferry upon our back. Upon arriving at that shore, the dogmas are not non-duality, are not the nature of the universe. Buddha on Heart Sutra and Neo-Buddhism now ends. See you. Here's one clue for finding good tour. Bye bye.